everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Football Card Guys. This is Pro Football Retro, but I have with me Royce Waxenfelter from Viking Wax Press, and then Kelly Reed from Blitz Weekly, and CardBlitz. We're trying to do a series now and calling it Football Card Guys. And when we get together, kind of just choose a different topic and I'll chat about it because we love talking football and we also love football cards. We thought it was appropriate. So tonight, our topic is our favorite set. So each of us chose a year of football card set, and we're going to talk about why we like them. We're going to talk about some of the rookies that were important that year, and then we're going to share some cards that we particularly like and why we like those. So that should take all of our Zoom allotted time, and we'll kind of throw it around. Who wants to get started on their set and why they love it?
I'll be a gentleman and let Royce go first.
All right, Royce.
Okay. Well, I'll go first. My favorite set is the 1975 top set. And in 1975, we would go down, we lived in Arkansas, we'd go down to the Russellville Walmart and get cards like this and then just beat them up. So these are some of the actual original cards from that set. Um, and I looked it up. Back then, we would get a triple cello pack from Walmart, 49 cents, 42 cards. So it was pretty
About a
great.
penny a card.
About a penny a card. And
Wow.
then they also had wax packs for 15 cents where you'd get 10 cards, and a single cello pack where for 25 cents you'd get 18 cards. So that was the prices back then. So it was a
Wow.
much more affordable hobby back then. Um, but some of the rookie cards that were in that set, I've
Wait,
got a
wait,
few
wait.
here that I'll.
Why else do you love this set?
Oh,
Don't
I
jump
love the
into your
set.
rookies yet. You're jumping.
Okay. Well, I love the design of the set, first of all.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it was our first set that we started collecting, and it's got some great cards. In fact, since it's the 50th anniversary, Topps just came out with this new 75 throwback look. This is Justin Herbert,
Cool.
J.J. McCarthy, Alvin Kamara. So I got a few of those in the mail this week and wanted to kind of show them. Now they aren't quite the same in the back as the original, but they do have basically the same design, just not that green field look. But so the throwbacks and the originals are pretty close. So I like that they're doing throwbacks, but the design's really cool.
Cool.
I think that it's got the banner on the bottom and the football helmet and the name of the guy. So since I have him up, I'll start with one of the rookies who wasn't really a rookie, but it's his rookie card because it was the first one ever made. This is Gary Larson. He was one of the Purple People Eaters. And so my Vikings, he was sadly, this is the only card that they ever made of one of the Purple People Eaters, Gary Larson. So it's his rookie card. Got a couple other rookies. It was Lynn Swan's rookie year that year. So this is one of the, I'd say probably the second most coveted card in that set because it was his rookie. The most coveted card in that set is Dan Fouts, his rookie card. And as you can see, mine has got a little tear up here. It's hard to find these. In fact, in a few years ago, a PSA 10 sold for $13,200. So very expensive card. You can see why I have a pretty beat up one. But it's a cool set because it's got Dan Fouts rookie, Lynn Swan rookie, and a few other rookies that Joe Theismann, uh, Blunt, let's see, Ricky Pearson, Cliff Branch were some of the rookies from that year. So it was a good
Drew
year for
Pearson?
rookies. What?
Drew Pearson?
Yes,
I
push
don't know a
Pearson.
Ricky Pearson. I don't know.
Ricky Pearson, didn't he play for the Bucks in the 80s?
I don't know about that.
Pierce Saul.
Here's all. There
I
you
don't
go.
know. Anyway, I don't know where I came up with that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my favorite guys from that set. And I'm going to give you some more Vikings to start off with. In fact, I'll keep on the Purple People Eater theme with Carl Eller and Alan Page. These two guys kind of short up the middle. Well, he was on the edge. He was defensive tackle. So, two awesome. He's a Hall of Famer, Supreme Court Justice, awesome guy. He's still around doing signings and stuff in Minnesota. So, great couple of guys from that set. most of the cards in that set had this same look of just somebody posing. However, every now and then, like once every 6 or 7 cards, you'd get an action shot like this Fran Tarkenton. So this is one of my favorite cards in the set because it's a true in-game picture. So that's another one of my favorites, Fran Tarkenton. And then I have a couple other guys that I really liked because we just really liked them growing up too. Otis Sistrunk is one of my favorite cards because he's just one of the bad guys. If you watched our Bad Guys episode, he was one of the guys that I had in that set. So that's a great card. Jim Youngblood is another guy that we had growing up. The Rams back then were an awesome team. So we kind of liked the Rams a lot. And we had this card we really beat up because we played with it so much. So I got a new one there. Another card I really liked is Bubba Smith. So Bubba Smith, this is the same picture they used for I think 5 different tops cards throughout the years. So, but this one is for the Raiders. It was actually the last one using this picture, I believe. So
So they
it's
just
still a cool card.
airbrushed his shirt a different color every team he changed to.
Yep, exactly. Kind of looks like a mugshot too, but he was that
Yeah,
kind of guy where he looks like he probably should have been in a lineup because he was a bruiser.
nice.
And okay, so the last card I had as a favorite is this Ernie Holmes because
Oh,
he's got
nice.
the arrow shaved into his head, and he said it just he wanted to always be moving forward. So it was kind of a cool, rare look for that time. Like people either had a big afro or kind of a almost just short, uh, short afro. Most of the guys back then had longer hair though, so it was rare to see a guy with an actual shaved in look. So Ernie Holmes, part of the Steel Curtain defense. I thought that was kind of cool.
I do like some of the hairstyles looking back at the cards and the guys got their big mutton chops or
Yeah.
they've got really long hair or some of the guys with afros their hair is shaped by the helmet. So it's kind of fun to look at some of those old cards and look at the styles and some of the cool ones are like people who played in the 60s and had like a really short haircut, like a buzz cut or whatever, and then they got a little longer, and then they got like some wild hair. So it was kind
Yeah.
of like kind of funny to see the evolution of like what a football player looked like from the 60s up through the mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That was the 75 set.
Cool. Thanks, Royce. Kelly, you want to share yours next?
Sure. Sticking with the 70s for favorite sets, I'm going to go with the favorite set that I ever had as a child when I first started collecting football cards, and that would be the 1978 Topps football set. And it was 528 cards in the entire set, sold as one series. Um, if I remember correctly, wax packs were like 20 or 25 cents each. And of course, I had the gum in there. And just, going through there, I got, it's like I said, it's that first love, that first set. Uh, so yeah, and again, one series distributed throughout the US. Uh, Interesting fact, of the 528 cards, 97 of them are rookie cards.
Wow.
So quite the rookie crop. Now, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that that was like their first year they ever played or second year they ever played, but still, back then with Topps, getting the rights from the Players Union to publish certain images, yeah, you would have a buildup of rookie cards. And apparently, in like I said, 78, they had 97 individual rookie cards. So choosing three is kind of a tough thing. But
Yeah.
the first player I'd like to show off, he represents the city of New York and the New York Sack Exchange, and that would be one Joe Klecko. And he went to Temple. He was with the Jets from 77 to 87. Spent one year with the Colts. But
Hmm.
these cards have great little tidbits of info like Joe drives trucks in his spare time. Like, what do you do with that nugget?
Yeah.
He also got elected to the Hall of Fame recently, so congrats on that, Joe. And he apparently he made the Pro Bowl 3 times, but three different positions along that D line. So I'd imagine like a tackle, an end, and maybe a nose guard. I'm not sure about that third one. Second rookie card. and it belongs to those hated Steelers.
Mm,
One John Stallworth,
cool.
the pride of Alabama A&M. He spent his entire career though with the Steelers from 74 to 87. He made the Pro Bowl 3 times. He was a 4-time Super Bowl champ. And I'll never forget that 75-yard touchdown reception he made in the first half against my Dallas Cowboys. Ah, John Stallworth. And then finally, that 78 tops. And I didn't get this card until 1992 when I got back into collecting. But that'd be the rookie card of
Mm,
Tony Dorsett.
that's a great card.
Oh, it's a beautiful card. University of Pittsburgh graduate, national title winner in 76, Super Bowl winner in 77. He ranks up there with all-time rushing yardage leaders. NFL record today still standing with that 99-yard touchdown run that I'm sure Royce wants to hear about. Uh, but again, that was the card to get after. And him and Staubach, I think, for me, being in Dallas and being an 8-year-old in 78, those were the cards to go get. And sure enough, I got it, like I said, 1992.
Cool.
Very cool. Did you ever listen to Joe Klecko on any radio shows or anything?
No, I've not
He
listened to
he
any
has
of
some
his.
really interesting stories about being in movies and about his truck driving days because he actually drove truck
Hmm.
commercially and stuff. And um,
Apparently, that's one of his hobbies. So,
yeah. So it's kind of interesting to hear him talk and some of the stuff. Like I think he was on Cannonball Run or something like that, and some of those stories are kind of fun.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, yeah,
That's greatness. But yeah, I guess the driving trucks supplemented his income as an NFL player back in the day. If they weren't seasoned, they weren't getting checks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. Do you have some other cards to share with us?
Oh
I
man,
think we
we
were.
could be here for the extended episode edition of Card Guys, Football
Yeah.
Card Guys here. This card is
Ooh.
happiness and joy for me. And you might be looking at it going, hey, Kelly, it's only an SGC 4.5. But you know what? For $11 shipped with tax, I'll take it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man, and I get to look at that first from my childhood, first Super Bowl win. Other cool cards in the set. Y'all remember this guy, Eddie Payton?
Oh yeah. Sure
Yeah,
do.
Walter's big brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And also a Minnesota Viking at one point.
Yes, at the end of his career, he had several 1-year stops, but he spent 3 years with the Vikings. I guess mainly as what, like a punt return, kickoff return.
Returner. Yeah.
So yeah, and again, he was apparently also a golf coach for his alma mater, which I was not aware of till
Yeah.
doing some research on him.
Cool.
Now, another card is this man here, Waymond Bryant, and he looks as intimidating as get out, and it was
Yeah.
like that when I was a kid. But the thing that I liked about this card is that when I read where he was born and raised, he was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, my
Oh,
hometown.
nice.
And so, yeah, just this was one of those cards. He has that nice disgruntled look, like someone being stuck in the freezing cold of Chicago from Dallas. Yeah, probably not fun for him. But he still lives here in Dallas, and he
Cool.
went to Roosevelt High School, which is a part of our independent school district. So, moving on, one of y'all's favorite Oregon Ducks.
Oh
Yeah.
Y'all
yeah.
mentioned him, famous
Yep.
broadcaster Dan Fouts.
Yep.
Moving on, a card that got my attention in '78 was this one of Walter Payton,
Mm.
breaking the rushing for like 275 yards in a game and reading the newspaper clipping on the back over and over and over as a kid. And this card, and it's an action shot. Love
Yeah,
it,
it's a beautiful shot. Yeah.
definitely. Who like that whole era? Let's talk about the snake,
Oh yeah.
Kenny Stabler. Man, Ken's nickname is the Snake, which it points out here on the back. But being a
Mm.
left-handed QB, I thought was something that was really interesting. Defenses having a tough time, like they're used to QBs rolling out right, he's rolling out left, and he got a Super Bowl ring. But then he went on to play for the Oilers and the Saints, and I did not know that he signed to play for the World Football League, but he never played it down in the World Football League. But he did play some downs in the Continental Football League. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah. That was before back in the 60s. It only lasted till 69, so must have been early. But then yeah,
68, I think he signed in 68.
yeah.
Yeah, splitting his time with the Raiders and then with that league. Uh, Great action shots. Let's talk about Greg Landry.
I
Oh
love that
yeah.
card.
That
This is the photography. I mean, like as a kid, you see this guy slinging the rock, in the mud, and I had no idea who Greg Landry was, but other than QB Lions, but apparently he was a predecessor to the current scrambling quarterbacks or dual threat quarterbacks. So he brought that to the game. And then breaking the 10,000 yard rushing mark, one OJ Simpson, the juice. And as a kid, 8 years old, reading about how he broke that record to join, or not broke the record, but to join Jim Brown as the one of only two running backs at the time to actually rush for over 10,000 yards. That made quite the impression on me. Old,
yeah.
uh, old OJ here. Lastly, my man, Roger Staubach.
Nice.
This was
Cool.
the card. Like I said, I got one of these when I was a kid. I got this SGC graded 7-1 later, like a couple of years ago, because the one that I had as a kid was all mangled and destroyed. But man, he stands tall, and you know, Captain America. He's one of those childhood heroes that I still enjoy reading about. I've met him once. He's one of those guys that is, for me, an icon that I still look up to.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So that's
Well,
your 1978 Topps football set.
I love it. I
Great
kind of
set.
like that color block around the outside, and
Yeah.
some of them match and some of them don't match, like the pink with the lions. Um,
No,
but
but that's the best set as far as if you're looking to pull out a team of guys, that set is the easiest of all of them to do that because you can just slide it to the left and you can see the team name on the side.
oh right,
Super
yeah.
easy. So I loved it for that reason. When you're trying to pull out a group of team from the entire set, you could do that super quick.
I was also going to mention that 78 Topps football set is one of the more affordable vintage sets, of NFL cards.
Hmm.
And so, obviously you got the Dorsett rookie and the other 96, but it's pretty affordable, but it has all these superstars of the 70s in there, and then those that would go on to be greatness in the 80s as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you, Kelly.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
we saved the best for last. The 1982 top set. So this is my example. Why I love this set is because kind of the retro design. It's got the little pennant there. It's got the older helmet with the two-bar face mask. Um, so kind of harkens back a little bit, and then it's just got that cool kind of retro design up around with the box. I just loved it. And then on the back, being a stats guy, every card has a different stat. It might be related to the guy's position, but it might not. So this one here for a nose tackle, it's talking about interceptions. I just loved this set. It was the first one where they could show the logo on the helmet. Um, so throughout the 70s, they took the logo off and airbrushed it out. And then this was the first set, 1982, where they could show the logo. Um, so I really liked that. It really solidified my love for the Bills, seeing the logo on the card, seeing, some of my players and like, oh, that looks so cool. So I already love football. I already like the Bills, but that's the one that like made me like, okay, this is my team for good. Um, and it was just a pretty cool set with a lot of great rookies as well. Three of the main rookies I pulled out are all Hall of Famers, all probably considered the best all time at their position. So first is Anthony Munoz for the
Yeah.
Bengals. That was also the first year the Bengals did the stripes on their helmet. They had that just plain orange helmet with
Bengals on it.
Cincinnati or Bengals or whatever on it
Yeah.
that was kind of plain, and then this just was kind of cool, like looked Jungle
Hmm.
Cat, and they went to the Super Bowl that year. So it's kind of a cool year for Bengals and for Anthony Munoz, considered the best offensive tackle, maybe even best offensive lineman of all time. Out of USC, just a big mauler. He is definitely considered one of the best ever. Um, and then another guy from USC, Ronnie Lott. Um, he this was his rookie card. They also went to the Super Bowl that year. So the Niners, Joe Montana kind of burst on the scene that year. And Ronnie Lott was a corner that year, later turned into a safety and considered the best safety of all time. Super hard hitting, great in coverage, very tough guy. The Ronnie Lott rookie, he was my first double digit card when I got back into it. I spent $10 on this card. And for me, I was trying to keep it under $2 because I'm super frugal. So when I was looking all over for this Ronnie Lott in not great condition, and then I found one in pretty good condition for $10, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So Ronnie Lott kind of burst the bubble for me that way. And then this one is one I have not found.
Mm.
This is a reprint. You
Uh,
can't really tell, but when you look close, there's some hints. There's that little emblem right there. It's a Topps Archives. And then on the back, it's a little bit more orange than the
yeah.
original yellow.
Mm.
It's still got the stat. It's still got all the same information on the back. It's just there's those couple little telltale signs that it is a fake. Um, but if you're just flipping through, you're like, oh, I got a Lawrence Taylor rookie, but I don't.
Well,
But
it's not a fake. It's just a reproduction
uh,
made by Topps still, right? So,
yeah, yeah. But if I was gonna try to tell somebody, oh, I
yeah.
got a Lawrence Taylor rookie, they would call me out on it.
Right.
And I can't sell it for anything more than a couple bucks, but that's why I got it. I was looking and they were just out of my league for the ones that I was looking at. But Lawrence Taylor also considered the best linebacker in history, maybe considered the best defensive player. I choose Bruce Smith, but to each his own. Some people choose Lawrence Taylor. Very great player, a couple Super Bowls in New York, and kind of redefined the outside linebacker position.
Yeah.
Those are those rookies, the main three um, from that set. And then the cards I picked out to kind of show that year they had these in action shots. So this is William Andrews in action. I just love the action ones, and I'm glad they that year they picked like a subset to do all these in actions. And here he is. He was a pretty strong back, breaking a tackle, running through. William Andrews was pretty amazing until he hurt his knee. He was really on pace to be a Hall of Famer. He had quite a few 1,300-yard seasons, a couple 1,500-yard seasons, and then he hurt his knee and he was never the same. But really good running back from the early 80s. Another in-action shot, another guy kind of considered one of the best of all time at his position, Kellen Winslow. I love this picture because, he's kind of doing an acrobatic catch for a tight end. There's Dan Fouts in the background there. Doug Wilkerson, who is
Mhm.
a great guard for the Chargers. And the Chargers were also one of my favorite teams just because I thought that logo was really cool. Um, and they had that passing attack, that Eric Coryell passing attack that was super exciting in the late 70s, early 80s, that it was just like, whoa, they're setting records left and right. Um, so I love the in actions, Kellen Winslow Chargers, love that. Another subset they had was Football Brothers. And there he
Mm.
is again for the second time, Eddie Payton and
Nice.
Walter Payton. Whoever that is, I don't know. But Eddie Payton, there's Eddie in his Vikings helmet,
Yeah,
and
love
that
it.
Walter guy over there.
Hmm.
And then it tells a little bit about each brother on the back. So I just
Cool.
thought that was cool. They have Charlie Hanna and John Hanna. They have, Lyle Blackwood and Glenn Blackwood. They have quite a few football brothers. And I just thought that was kind of a neat little twist that, they only had for that one year. They didn't do it before or after or whatever, but that year they did. Um, Speaking of Dan Fouts, we all had a Dan Fouts card in our sets.
That's
Um,
cool.
so this is a Dan Fouts record breaker. So this year he broke the record for the third time in a row for
Wow.
most yards passing. So he set it in 79, he set it in 80, he set it in 81. So on this 82 card, it commemorates that 81 year of him resetting the record again. So he kept up in the bar, over 4,000 yards 3 times in a row. that passing attack was just unprecedented for the day. And I remember this is what a football nerd I am. I remember getting in an argument with a kid in third grade who was saying Terry Bradshaw was the best quarterback in the league. And I was like, no way, it's Dan Fouts. And he was like, no, Terry Bradshaw won the Super Bowl. I was like, no, Dan Fouts keeps passing for way more yards. He's you know way
Yeah.
more accurate. And if Dan Fouts was on the Steelers, can you imagine? So even back then in third grade, I agree with myself that Dan Fouts was better. Um, and then couple more cards I wanted to share. This is one of my favorite cards of all time. This is Walter Payton in action, jumping over the pile to score a touchdown, basically flying through the air.
Yeah.
This Royce and I did a favorite cards of all time, and this was on my list of my 20 favorite cards of all time. And it's just such a cool card. He did this so often and so well that you kind of
Mhm.
knew, like, once they were down on the goal line, that's what's going to happen, and nobody could stop it. And then I also wanted to share this was the final year that Topps did this team leaders. So they did four team leaders in one card, usually rushing, receiving, sacks, and interceptions. Once in a while, they would, like, if a running back like Earl Campbell or somebody didn't sign with Topps, they'd put kick returns here. Um, so once in a while, you'll see a kick returner instead of a running back or something like that. But I really liked these team leader cards. They did it from 76 through 82, and they'd put this four square, and then on the back they would do the results, like the all the games, all the scores, and if they went in the playoffs, what the playoffs were.
Cool.
So I just loved that. I don't know why they stopped doing that.
Hey, I
Do
was
we,
gonna mention the 78 tops, they put the team checklist
oh,
on
on
the
the back.
back of theirs.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
interesting though that yours had the actual like games and the scores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And one thing that was really cool about the 76 is on the back of the Buccaneers and the Seahawks, they put everybody that was in the supplemental draft. So you could see everybody that was first drafted by them because they hadn't had any leaders yet in that year. So I just really like those team leaders cards. I've collected all of them from that 76 through 82, just
Cool.
so I have everything that was ever made like that. Um, and then, they've done some reprints and stuff of it, but they went to, in 83, they went to one player, and then just writing. But I liked that four square with the smaller pictures.
Hey,
Um,
Aaron, wasn't 82 the first year where they started putting the set into team groupings? And then you
I
had
think
like the
so.
team leader card as the either the start or the beginning of the actual team. And then they'd put
Yeah,
everybody in
yeah. So this was
alphabetical
number
order.
21, and then the Bills ran through like 35 or something. Like,
Yeah.
this was number 30, and it's a Bill. So yeah, yeah. And I liked that. It made a lot more sense than like the random.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, why is that guy there? I liked it when they did that. When they like, I think they did it alphabetically for a while, and then for a couple years they did it by like NFC, AFC, best team to worst team kind of thing. But what I liked best was when they did it alphabetically. And I think that's what they were doing in 82.
Yeah.
So I gave you a quick preview of my number one favorite 82 card. This is Frank Lewis. I like it because it's got that all pro on there. He's on the Bills. So I was like, this is a great player on my team with the logo on his helmet. It's kind of the whole Megillah there. And it just made me love the Bills and love football cards even more. And then just on the back, his stat is most yards ever by a Buffalo Bills receiver, and it's him, and it's that year. So
Cool.
I thought, like, hey, he's on his own card. Um, and I also loved that they gave all the stats from their whole career, and even like receiving and rushing, or if they had punt returns, they'd put that on there too. So it was for a stat person, it had all the stats you'd want, um, which they didn't always do. But in starting in 1981 through about 85, they did that really well.
Yeah.
Um, So I kind of wish they always did that. And they made 528 cards again, like Kelly was saying with the 77. So they
And the
made enough
75s too.
players,
Must
yeah,
have been
that you could
528
really
every
know
year.
a lot of your team.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, that's my favorite year. Um, you guys can vote in the comments on which one you liked best or your favorite year. We'd love to hear any of that and why, and maybe some of the rookies you like or some of the cards you like. But what a fun topic, you guys. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely.
uh,
Can I ask you guys one quick question?
yes.
Uh, okay, so you get your favorite set. How do y'all enjoy the set? Do you put it like in a eight like a 600 count box, or do you go through binders, or do you just pull out key cards and look at them? How do y'all enjoy your cards?
When I get a completed set, I put them in their own box, and that way I can kind of pull them out and look through them more often. As I'm building a set, they can be in a like a big 5,000 count or 3,000 count box until I get them built, and then I'll kind of separate them out as a complete set. But then I can easily pull out that
Do you
complete
penny
set and
sleeve
look
them
through them.
once you put them in that box by itself?
I penny sleeve them as I get them typically.
Okay.
So they're,
Then yeah, they're all penny sleeved in the box.
yep.
All right, how about you, Aaron?
I'm weird. I mix them all together. I'm just like uh depending on I do have a couple complete sets that I have set aside. I have the 84 top set aside. But then any other 84s I'm getting, I'm mixing them in. I go position and my favorite player, like best center ever, next best center ever, so I can kind of like, and then I'm like, oh, this guy retired. I'm gonna put him in because I have a current players box, and they're set aside because they don't count yet because they haven't played their full career. So
Right.
when they've retired and played their full career, I go, okay, where am I going to put them? Where am I going to rank this person? So I'm kind of a list guy. I'm kind of a rank person. So I like to do that. And then when I get a new card, I get to go back through and go like, oh yeah, here's Dwight Stevenson and Jeff Van Noten. Like, where's this guy go? With centers, or whatever position it is. So that's kind of my idiosyncratic way of doing it. So I do get to enjoy it as I look through those, like, oh, there's that OJ Anderson 1982, or whatever. So it's not like the whole block. I do have this book. It's all the top sets from I think 55 through 87 or something like that. So it's this book. So if I ever want to like, I want to look at that whole set, I flip through that book and I'm like looking at, number 1 through 528 in that book.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
which kind of does it for me for like the set in one space. Um, but I am strange and weird.
Hey, Aaron, on that note, since you just had to put Harrison Smith in your retired box, where did he go compared to Paul Krause?
I think behind him, because Kraus had the interception record, Harrison Smith is great.
Yeah.
Um, but I think just a couple behind him because, I think he's going in the Hall of Fame. He's been great for a long time. And um, yeah, it is kind of fun to be like, okay, this guy just retired. Where does he rank all time in my mind?
Yeah.
Um, and then sometimes it's very inexact because sometimes I'm like, I don't like that guy. I'm gonna put him behind some other guys because I don't like him. You know, if they played for the Dolphins or the Patriots or some crappy
Like
team.
Kelly would have all the Steelers at the end of his box.
The
Yeah,
bane of my existence.
that mean Joe Green, he's the worst defensive tackle ever, or whatever. Um, so I do a little fudging that way because it's my box, so I get to make the little rules.
Yep.
I have Tom Brady like back there behind like Neil O'Donoghue or Neil O'Donnell or whatever. Just like middle of the road, who cares? Um,
Yeah.
but that's me. But yeah, if you guys out there watching collect your set in a different way, we'd love to hear that. And like, how do you look back through them? Do you have a binder, or what do you do to kind of look back through your set or enjoy your set? Because some people will just like stick it on in the closet and never look at it again. Like they took all this time to build this set, and then it's like, okay, that's done and gone. And you know, so I do like to kind of keep it active and keep
Yeah.
fiddling through it when I reorganize.
That's one of the reasons why I like doing this show because I get to pull my cards out and look through them again.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of fun to pull and be like, what are some cards I like from whatever we're talking about?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Definitely good times. Great topic. Interested to see what viewers are thinking, and definitely, next episode of Football Card Guys, it'll be a blast. looking forward to it.
All right, great. Well,
Awesome.
thanks, you guys. Enjoy the draft. Um, and we'll see next time we meet, we'll see who everybody's team got, and it'll be closer to training camp and all that.
That'll work.
Very cool.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
Signing off.